You've had Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce, but have you had them covered in sauce? Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo or honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker out there, you can try spicy ghost pepper, only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. Listen, I'm going to dare you to do it. I dare you. That's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs that you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and then grab a few more napkins and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
What's up, Cal fans? You are tuned in to the Golden Bear Cast, a proud partner of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. That is our bye-week introduction, and if we end up winning, we might keep it. I am Andy, alongside me is Rob. We are coming to you live on a Tuesday of the largest game in the last 15 years.
You think so? You think this is the biggest game in 15 years?
All right, let's do the math.
How far back is 15 years? 2014?
09, right?
Yeah, 09.
09. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that one.
You don't think it's the Oregon trip in 09 that was bigger as the number 6 team?
No, I mean, but we got smacked that game, right?
I know.
I think that 09 is the last season when I can really remember, man, because of Javid, we just have massive hype.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the biggest game in the last 15 years, but it definitely feels like the biggest week of a game in the last 15 years for sure. Like Monday through Friday with game day on Saturday, it just feels like something is happening every single day.
Non-stop, as they say in Hamilton. I'll keep coming with my random references.
Non-stop. Absolutely non-stop.
I got Lasso on lock. I got Hamilton. Just you wait. Oh, there we go. Boom. I'm on fire. I should never record a podcast after softball. I'm on fire.
You're too locked in.
Okay.
All right. What are we talking about today?
We're combining these podcasts that we would normally do because it's the bye week. We already did an emergency pod about game day. Hooray. See you all there, 6 a.m. Then, so today we are going to talk a little bit of college football landscape, and then we're going to go into golden tweets. Yep. Rob will still do his You've Got Mail.
Damn it, I'm not
unless
ready.
you wanted a bye week break, in which we would add some
do
pressure.
I get a bye week break?
I'll leave it up to you.
I want a bye week break. I want to see how I perform coming out of a bye week.
Okay. Then we won't hear that.
Okay.
But we'll move into golden tweets to finish this out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit of a quick hitter episode today. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to kick us off because I wanted to talk about the college football realignment that has been happening with the formerly known Pac-12, which went down to the Pac-2 and is still known as the Pac-12. And we actually talked about it, about why they would keep that name. And if I remember correctly, we both said that the brand name was just so well known at that point that it would be better to sort of keep it. And what it looked like was inevitable was the Mountain West was going to either merge or acquire the Pac-12. And it's amazing that did not happen, because what happened again is seemingly the same thing that happened to the Pac-12 just 1 year ago, where it seemed as though no one could conceptually understand how the Pac-12 could acquire anybody else. So they overplayed their hand as the Mountain West, and the Pac-12 said, you know what? We have all these assets. We have a great brand name that everybody knows. We are now going to poach you all. And what has happened is it's just so similar but at a different level. And what you see is this avalanche where it starts at the top.
Yep.
But the spill down, it's not the best way of describing it, but as it pushes further and further down, it keeps cascading and happening over and over again. And now the news today was that the Pac-12 is adding Gonzaga for basketball. And then UTEP is joining the Mountain West from Conference USA, I believe.
I don't think that's finalized yet. There were some refuting reports regarding that too.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
So, yeah.
I thought that was done deal.
That's what I thought too, until it sounds like it's not fully done.
Oh.
Very
Okay. They changed it back to sources. So
Yeah.
So that, as it stands today, the Pac-12 is still not the 12, and the teams that remain in the Pac-12 are sorry, not remain, but that are there. Obviously, we have Oregon State and Washington State.
Yep.
They've added San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, Fresno State, Boise State. That's the new Pac-12. They need to add one more full member to qualify as a conference. And now, because of the exits, the Mountain West also has to add one. There was a lot of drama that happened with UNLV, and I wanted to specifically talk about this because of Calamoni. UNLV was a prime target, current Mountain West member, prime target of the new Pac-12.
Yep.
And essentially, it looked like they were going. Very kind of Washington, Oregon type night where looks like they're out. They're going to go to the Pac-12. But there was this conflict with, well, what happens to the University of Nevada, Reno? And we see it play out again. And what I think is so fascinating about this is with Arizona, the schools stayed together. With Nevada, the schools stayed together. With Washington, schools went separate. And with California, the schools went separate.
Oregon as well.
Oh, yeah. Oregon as well. What do you think about that?
At that point, that's just like state politics, right? And like what each state allows its public universities to do and dictate. I think each university is allowed to make decisions that's best for their future, but like with the caveat of if you're part of the same system, like you need to take into account of the damages that you're incurring when you decide to make a decision like that. And that's kind of what happened with Calamoni, right? Like it's like UCLA, you made that decision to go to the Big Ten. So these are the consequences of you deciding to go to the Big Ten. And that's what Calamoni ended up being. So the UNLV situation is like that's more exciting. That's a bigger what if question of like what if that had happened with UCLA and Cal? Like what happens? What would have been more likely is my question to you. Would it have been us joining the Big Ten with them and dragging Stanford along into the Big Ten? Or is it that USC goes, but LA had to have stuck around?
I think it did leak, or I hope that I'm not leaking something that isn't public knowledge. It's always a risk with me sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do believe that there was a version of this where UCLA was actually going to stay, and that was a part of the last ditch effort where UCLA was going to stay, USC was going to go, and they thought that was a viable option, that they were going to bail on the Big Ten and stick with Cal, stay in the same conference. And then it all fell apart once
Oregon and Washington left,
said that they were leaving. But I mean, so much of this it's like musical chairs that's going to come to some form of a conclusion where I think it gets back to kind of what it was. I don't know. I think part of me is still looks at the Big Ten and when they do their little ad of all the schools, and I'm still shocked that they didn't just bring in Cal and Stanford. It makes so much sense with where they are, but I couldn't be happier to not be going and traveling to Michigan and playing all of these teams.
Yeah, it's an absolute gauntlet.
Been really nice.
Yeah, I mean, going to see like UCLA get smacked, these last couple of weeks, and then USC's game against Michigan, like what the hell was that? Yeah, I don't know how my anxiety levels would be through the roof every time we had to go on an away trip to the Big Ten.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Gauntlet.
But to be fair, there is a version of this where I do want to see in some alternate universe a Wilcox team against a Kirk Ferentz Iowa team.
Yeah.
Just for the sickos moment of it all.
Yep.
There is a moment of that. But outside of that, yeah, it's you make a good point. It's like musical chairs that's going to end at some point. And, there's honestly, in my opinion, there's only two outcomes here. Either we're just going to see a drastic change of all this realignment and we're going to see free agency with these universities every few years, or we're just going to get this, like, one conference is constantly going to get disintegrated every rotation.
Yep.
And it's feeling like, as you said, it's the cascading trickle down effect, right? So like which league at the bottom is going to get scalped of their teams and then get left with nothing and then have to disintegrate. And it's like, it's probably something like the Sun Belt or the AAC or, like it's one of those teams, because you're always going to poach from below to backfill.
There's always someone that's holding the bag. Yeah. Even in the days of the GME and, to the moon.
Yep.
When it was eventually going to come back down, that's the worst part about it, is the people that are going to be left taking the loss. They have to exist. And this is the same. There has to be sort of a winner and a loser. And you're right. And what I could also see is if it isn't sort of the bigger shift into a top 64 or a top 128 or whatever it may be, then I think you're not talking just about AAC or Sunbelt. You're talking about the disintegration of every smaller conference, because there will continually be unless like the grant of rights sort of protects it, they'll continue to be that movement or always be that desire for the bigger leagues to poach down and pull up.
Yeah.
But it's better for college football in the way that everything worked out here, where UNLV did not end up going to the new Pac-12. They stayed in the Mountain West. I believe that grant of rights is now signed and locked in, and they're trying to get their 8th member so they can stay at conference. They have 2 years to do it. I'm sure they'll be fine. And then the Pac-12 has 2 years to add one more. They obviously added Gonzaga from a basketball standpoint. That's going to be a great basketball conference, by the way. Like San Diego State and Gonzaga. Like, that's awesome.
What's up, everybody? It's Heisman Trophy winner Matt Leinart. I've got a podcast called Throwbacks with actor Jerry Ferrara, where we'll be talking all things sports, but also so much more. We'll give you the behind-the-scenes stories from my days as the quarterback on an iconic college football team to Jerry's days as a star on an iconic TV series. So subscribe to Throwbacks wherever you download your podcasts and follow us on all social media at Throwback Show.
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
There's some interesting dynamics at play, like over the next few years, or less next few years and more like next 8 to 12 years. Like, so for my soccer example, right, like the European Champions League, which is like the best teams of every country every season, they get to play in the Champions League the following year. How the schedule has always been is that they have these pots. You draw out of a pot, you form groups. There's all these groups, and then you play a round robin with the groups, and then the top two advance into a round of 16, and then that's when it starts the double elimination stuff. That's been around for years. Starting this year, they totally flipped the format where all the teams in the Champions League get bunched up into one table. And then these teams are seeded, and then you're gonna pick out of a pot, and you'll pick six games to play, right? Same number of games as the round robin, except you won't get the same home and away. Like, you're not facing 3 other teams home and away. It's 6 random teams, and then it'll be decided whether you're going to them or they're coming to you. And so every game day of the Champions League, the chart is going to change dependent on who scored more goals. Every time you get a win, it's 3 points. Tie is 1 point, and a loss is 0. So that table of teams is constantly going to be moving up and down, right? That's the reason they brought it in, is because they want some more dynamic outcomes to games and have each game mean a lot more, instead of it being like, oh, this team got an easy draw, they're just going to go through no matter what. But with this, it's like they have that table that's constantly fluctuating every single week until a final game day where the top 16s in that table by points and then goal differential to break ties, they'll move up into the double like elimination games. So you get one home and away game with team and goals, and you get to move on.
Not confusing at all.
Not confusing at all. But my thing is, I feel like that sort of thing is on the horizon for college football. I feel like at some point, these teams and conferences are going to figure out, you know what, our best option against these TV rights and to consolidate and to make sure the money is big and good across all these top tier universities is to just combine it and to make it one single league. And then you have that type of same setup as the Champions League, right? We'll pick every season, it'll be different. Like, you'll still stick with your rival, but your 12 games or your 11 games, it'll be on rotation. Every team will have to travel a little bit out west. Every team will have to travel a little bit out east. Every team's going to have to, travel a little bit to the Midwest. And you'll just have that rotation of teams, and you go with that. I feel like that's coming down the line. I feel like it's too hectic and crazy to continue with this thing of different conferences and constantly moving conferences just in chasing the money. Like, at some point, someone's going to have to sit down and be like, is this, from a university standpoint and all of us, is it worth it to constantly be at war with one of another, and these TV companies like pitting us against each other so that we move to another conference?
Interesting. I worry about a situation in which the best of the best try to carve off. I mean, like the Super League.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that possibility still there too. And that's kind of what we kind of heard when, or we kind of felt when we heard, I think the SEC and the Big Ten are like having some meeting this weekend or something like that, or next week. So it's like, I wonder what you're talking about. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know what's on your docket, but I think I can figure it out. But yeah, that's
who knows? Maybe they'll do a what was it? An alliance.
Another alliance that lands like that yields nothing.
Yields absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Well, anyways,
Yeah, that's a good
that is
confirmation.
the conference movement. Mm-hmm. Now it's time for golden tweets. We don't have the You've Got Mail. We're giving you a pass.
Yep. Yeah, let's get to it. There's quite a few. There's 10, I believe, on the roster. So we'll start with the first one. N says, with the Oakland A's leaving, do you think Cal needs to establish itself with the community as the #1 Bay Area sports team?
I love this question because we've talked about it in the past, a long time ago.
When the Raiders left,
When
too.
the Raiders left.
Yeah.
Exactly. And said Cal has a chance to be the team of the East Bay when it comes to football. I think a lot of Raiders fans become Niners fans. I don't think they admit it, but I saw somebody on, maybe it was in a comment section in Right for California, doing the Rooted in Berkeley, stealing the A's.
Yeah.
It hit a little bit of a, just like a, ooh,
Yeah.
still hate that the A's, it's just too close
Yeah.
to the A's and the John Fisher just gross feeling for me to totally get behind it. But the sentiment of this question is perfect, which is there's a great opportunity to swoop a bunch of people that have just been disenfranchised as fans and bring them into, as Rob always says, well, the culture and what it's about to be a Cal fan, and that, you know, sports and athletics at the collegiate level can be just as compelling, if not way far more compelling, with a better stadium than what you have with the A's. Mm-hmm. But I would make the case that I just don't know you would have to look at it from the addressable market and say, okay, out of all of the A's fans that exist, let's just say in the East Bay, because they're obviously all over, how many of them are already aware of or have some affiliation to Cal? Okay, of those that don't have that awareness or affiliation to Cal, that's the group that you're going after and saying, okay, can we target them? How much is that really? Because I would guess that they're probably already aware. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's definitely Cal nights. When I was in college, we would go to the Cal night at the A's game because it was much easier on BART to get to than the Giants game. And then I also wonder about like sports. It is pretty different, baseball to football. However, seeing what the Ballers have done, if the A's wanted to invest in updating, or sorry, not the A's, if the Cal wanted to invest in updating Evans and making it more of an actual, I think, almost like minor league-ish stadium, I think now would be a great time to do that. Especially because you still have the natural ties that exist on the Giants too. You know, like you have Bob Melvin and Canna. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. The answer. I hope that answers the question. Next one is from, well, his Twitter handle is Depressed Cal Fan, but his name is Jack Plummer. So, is Jack Plummer a Depressed Cal fan?
Oh yeah, you know he is. Too many hits to the head.
His question: uniform guesses.
Rob, this is all you.
Well, I mean, I think I sent you the video, right, of Ed Quinn when he made a video, and maybe I didn't send it to you, but it was right before game day was announced. He put a video out there of like trying to convince the game day folks to come, and he alluded to new uniforms, like throwbacks that we have not seen. And then of course the team account drops the new helmets that were on Monday. So this question was probably before that helmet reveal. So I'll ask you this first. What do you think about the helmets?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. The old bear paw.
Oh yeah.
Cal
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Looks so sick.
Yeah. It's going to look very nice. In terms of the jerseys, man, when Ed Quinn first said that, though, like, you know, most people's minds went straight to it's probably going to be the Aaron Rodgers, like Marshawn Lynch Nike uniforms, right? That's probably the first one that comes to mind if they do throwbacks that they haven't done, because you're not going back. You've already done the Joe Roth, like that blue look, and it's not like the Kyle Baller or the Tony Gonzalez years style of jerseys were like they didn't really have any like unique design to it. So that was where my first thought went, and it'd be a cool look with this particular helmet. But do anything come to mind for you?
I'm looking at jerseys right now, and I just found a throwback Marshawn Lynch jersey, the one that I always saw in the store and wanted, for $55 on Poshmark.
Kind of sketchy, but okay. I have a Marshawn one that's like actually name and numbered, so maybe I'll wear that to game day.
Dude, tag on and everything. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. Kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't love the Aaron Rodgers like blue with the gold stripe as much.
But what
So
about
I wonder how you
what
would
about
make-
the gold one they wore?
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, maybe it's that one with these helmets. Would be cool.
But the helmets are blue
The helmets are blue
with the gold.
with the gold. Yeah, and then blue
So
pants.
maybe gold.
Because that's what Deshaun wore, right? I think on the cover of NCAA 08 or 09. I think it's 08. He's wearing the gold Cal jersey on that cover. So
It's a very long-winded way of saying we don't know. But it's supposed to be a
Yeah.
gold out. So I'm going to rock the Follett 56.
that's a good one too. The Fall of 56 is a solid.
I don't know. I don't think I have any other gold jersey besides that.
Yeah, I have that. I have the exact same Zach Follett one, but that's it. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Next one.
I don't think it did.
Next one. I am a meet Tamir. Says, what can we do as a community to get as many students as possible to show up to game day?
I don't know if we got to worry about that. Student section was absolutely slammed against San Diego State, so I'm not worried about getting students there.
Yeah, I'm not worried about students or to show up to game day. I don't think.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
game
yeah.
day. I heard it as
Yeah.
Game day,
The
game
lower
day.
G game day, but he's talking about capital G game day.
I maybe same answer. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I'm worried about that. If you have a student section that's that full.
So let me pose you a question, and I'll give my answer too. But let me pose a question to you, as someone who was a part of the Greek life at Berkeley. How difficult or how easy would it be to galvanize them to go to a college game day?
We would have had all the people that have texted me and said that they are coming to the game on Saturday are all the same people that would have been at game day. But I think we would have had more because obviously some have had kids. So I think we'd have 15, 20 solid.
Yeah.
But if you do that by 15, 20 by house, I mean, that's just what I think. You have enough students that are showing interest in football and the team already at the San Diego State game. I gotta imagine that spillover is really easy. And it's just one of those things. It'd be different if they had never been here before, but never in the history of Berkeley it's the same thing when we were talking about the big game of 2 years ago at home when I was in the stands and the people that were around me were clueless about football and were just taking selfies about them being in the stadium. And I think we're going to get a little bit of that audience.
Which is fine. But like, I guess my worry for that to a certain extent is just like, do people even understand what college game day is? Like, how many students like have watched it or know what it is? Where like, if you said like, "Hey, college game days come to Berkeley," they're like, "Yeah, we have a game day every Saturday." Like, that's kind of the response. Like, I feel like we might get, just because one, we haven't been that good at football for so long where people are interested in all of that stuff. And it's also really, really early. So here's what I'll say. I am a meet Tamir. It's I have heard that some of the frats or sororities will be out there camping for a game day. I think that statement that I heard alone is enough to say that it'll be packed out.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
And alumni will carry it through anyways.
Yeah, I mean the alumni conversations that I'm in right now, like talking about signs and what they're making and flags and all that, and what time they're going to get there is pretty crazy. So I feel like it'll be pretty full. We'll have a good showing. Next one from Grumpy Bear. Biggest game in years. Do you anticipate that Jim K and Cal Marketing will show any extra effort to get butts in seats? You know, Grumpy Bear, I love all your questions, man. This is one of those things where I'm like, do we really need to talk about this now? Like I've said this to a bunch of other people too. Like when people are asking about the ticket prices are too expensive and so on, like we need to lower them for students. I was like, yeah, I get it. I get that conversation needs to be had at some point, but like, that's not a conversation that is going to have any meaningful impact now. Like they're not going to change the ticket prices now all of a sudden and drop it down. Like that's all budgeting and meetings and, you know, like opening up other, like people are talking about taking down the tarps and opening up the sections. And I'm like, look, if there's a demand for it, yeah, maybe they do take down the tarps like they did in the big game 2 years ago. But as of right now, the demand isn't there and necessary to do that. And like people don't take into effect or into the conversation of like, when you do that, expenses go up. Like you have to hire more staff. You have to, you know, like, you have to pay more people to reinstall those tarps. Like, is the cost offset of doing that worth it? And as of right now, the market regarding the ticket sales of the Miami game do not dictate that extra expense would be worth it. But in terms of like showing extra effort to get in the butts in the seats, like there's only so much you can do if people aren't showing up. Like it's not something that you can like just give out free tickets to. There are rules and restrictions around that. So yeah, unless we have donors that are willing to pony up the money just to get people in the building and pay for those tickets, it's gonna be kind of tough. I think those guys are doing a great job. Like I know people that are in that marketing department. I know people that work in that building, and you know, sometimes, you know, you can point to the department and say that they deserve some criticism, and, you know, maybe they do deserve some critiques, but like most of the time they're just trying to do their job, and there's like a lot of bureaucracy that stops them from doing their job at times too. And it's like, it's not worth the personal, like, what's it? Name calling and finger pointing.
I have nothing to add. Well said.
So yeah, thank you for the question though, Grumpy Bear. We really appreciate it. But I feel like that's a question for after the season. Next one, Teddy Bear says, over unders for guest picker. Do you have a top three? Should we name a top three of guest pickers?
No, I don't have a top three.
You don't have
what
a top
about yours?
three?
I know you do.
I mean, I think we talked about it on the pod, right? But like Tom Hanks would be up there for me. I think a cool one that I've been thinking about the last couple of days or the last day or so would be to have both Jared Goff and Jaylen Brown up there. Because Jared's on a bye. Jaylen, they just started, I think, media days for the NBA. So I don't know when the Celtics media day is, but, you know, as long as it doesn't land on Saturday, like he could be here with his finals MVP trophy, you know, and they're friends. Like they went to Berkeley at the same time. I think that'd be a really cool pairing. So that might be number 2 and 3 for me. But you don't have one, you know, one, you got none. Who would you want to see there? Like for you, huh?
Already said.
Who did you say?
I think I said Chris Pine.
Oh yeah.
William Hung.
Yeah, you did say William Hung.
And
that's right.
Marshawn, obviously.
Yeah, Marshawn, obviously. Oh, by the way, like since we're talking about guest pickers, you know, Aaron Rodgers is on the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday. He was on today, and there was a little like 2 minutes of him talking about Berkeley to Pat McAfee, and he's like, "You're gonna enjoy it. It's a great fan base out there." Like he just had glowing words about it. And then, you know, Pat McAfee with the little snarky, like, "Do you think Cal fans will show up?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're gonna show up." And he's like, "Is there any places like you want me to go to out there?" And he leads with Top Dog, and then he says La Burrita, which is right next door. And then you see Pat McAfee like writing down the names. and then he mentions Blondies. So yeah, those are a few names he listed, but it was cool. And then I took a screenshot because right as he's talking about Cal, underneath on the bottom it says it's talking about Lions quarterback Jared Goff, like sets the NFL record for most completed passes without an incomplete pass. It's like on the bottom ticker. So I have Aaron Rodgers on the screen and it says quarterback Jared Goff on the bottom. I was like, Aaron and Jared are both on ESPN.
I love that you got that in there. Yeah. I was going to say we have to shout out Jared today.
It's unbelievable.
Unreal. Peyton Manning Jr.
He has more touchdown receptions than Bryce Young has touchdown passes.
Okay, leave Bryce Young alone.
I know. It's a low-hanging fruit, and I think it's just a funny stat.
Leave Bryce alone.
But to be also, he has more receiving touchdowns than 5 top-tier tight ends in the NFL. He has more than Travis Kelce. He has more than his own Sam Laporta. He caught a touchdown pass before his own Sam Laporta.
My fantasy team is aware of this, Rob.
All right, next question. Anthony Baran, score predictions for Miami.
30-24.
Wow, that's a close one.
Cal.
30-24 Cal. I said this on the Miami podcast that I was on earlier today, and I think I'm gonna say the same one. I think my pick is 35-17.
Who?
Cal.
What? You said this on a Miami podcast?
Yeah.
Did they lose their shit?
No. Well, I said that's my heart pick, and then my head pick, my rational analysis pick is probably 35-17 to Miami. But I'm picking my heart pick here because it's the homer. I'm gonna say my heart pick is my.
I don't like your head pick at all. No.
Yeah, that's why I'm going with my heart pick here. I have to sound reasonable, otherwise they're gonna come after me. We got another one from a friend of the pod. Oh, by the way, we'll do David's question last because there's an add-on to David's. Sid texts us in. She goes, "I'm so excited for this. I am wondering if you could both pick any game at any point in time for Cal to host College Game Day. Which game would you choose and why? Go Bears and see you on Saturday."
Oh, such a good question.
Such a good question. There's an easy answer here.
Okay.
2007 Tennessee.
Yeah.
Easy. That's the super easy answer.
Is that the one that was supposed to be College Game Day and then it got moved because of
Virginia Tech?
Mm-hmm. That is an easy answer.
That's the absolute easy answer. I'd say maybe one of the Cal Texas games. Or I'm trying to go back further.
I was like, when was the last big game that both teams were ranked?
It's probably a long time ago. Yeah, it might be. It might have been 09.
It was away.
But 09 was away, yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there any other interesting games?
They wouldn't have chosen it, but it would have been really cool for the smoke game.
Oh, yeah. But that was a Friday night game, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yes, point still stands. The point is valid. Because she's just talking about the game, not the date.
There's not a lot.
There's not a lot. I'm thinking maybe 2015 Oregon. Did we beat them in 15 or 16? It was Justin Herbert's first. You and I were in the box. It was Jordan Kanasic with the interception to end the game.
Yeah.
In overtime.
Let me tell you, I hated that game. Hated that game.
We still won though.
We still won.
Yeah. If I were to pick one that we lost, I think there's two that come to mind. Remember that like double or triple overtime game against Arizona with Khalil Tate?
Yeah, that was so much fun. That's a good one.
That's up there, and then also SC from last year.
Yep. Good pick.
Those are probably my other two. If I'm picking losses. But you still searching?
I'm reading the Right for California top 10 games of the last decade.
Yeah. Are there any in there that are of interest?
Not really.
Not really, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay. That's it. We got two more. We got one from our dear friend Rex Volcano on Twitter. one of the OG burners. The game day crew. Oh God, I already tweeted at him after this. I tweeted him. I was like, "Why are you the way that you are?" That Michael Scott gif. Because let me read you his question. The game day crew can only choose one restaurant to sample the diverse array of flavors that make Berkeley an epicenter of food culture. Where do you send them, and why is it Steve's Korean Barbecue?
First of all, is Steve's Korean still good? I've also heard that it's expensive now.
I mean, what isn't though? Inflation's risen everything in price, and it's particularly because this is a very meat-heavy option, and meat has gotten pretty pricey. So,
I mean, Rob, you have introduced me to so many different Korean restaurants. Would Steve's Korean even rank on a list of the 10 places that you could send somebody in the East Bay?
Steve's Korean is to Korean food what Taco Bell is to Mexican. That's the best apt description I can make of it.
Sorry, Steve's Korean, you are not getting a sponsorship on the pod. All right, I think that settles that. So that's immediately out.
Yeah.
Where?
But yeah, I already
would
texted
send
Rex.
them?
Yeah, where would you send them?
You know, I kind of have a boring pick,
Yeah.
but I think one of the things about the Bay Area that people do not know is how good our pizza is. And cheese board
this is gonna be really divisive. Like, people are gonna get really angry depending on where you pick.
I think if you get cheese board on a Saturday when it's like the Roma tomatoes with the mozzarella and the four cheese with the garlic, dude, it is so damn good that I think I would choose cheese board, because I just don't think people understand that when you're coming out of town, you don't think of the Bay Area as like, yeah, that's where I'm going to go get some pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think of it, maybe some like California fare type stuff. And obviously Chez Panisse is probably, people are saying, oh yeah, why wouldn't you choose Chez Panisse? But like, I think for $25 budget, you go out and give somebody that, you're like, damn, that's delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Jock Peterson gained hella weight while he was on the Giants. What's your choice?
I kind of got three. Like, I would say Great China is up there, like straight in Berkeley. It's just probably top tier elite Chinese food. Particularly if you go for their like lunch combo, which is like everything's under $13 ish, or $15 I think now, and you get the rice and the entree and the egg roll, the salad and soup. But yeah, Great China would be up there, and then probably any of the Thai food in the area. I think Berkeley has amazing Thai food, and then cheese board I think is up there. If I want to just go straight Berkeley staples, those are my picks.
You know, one that would be good would be Gregoire.
I mean, those potato balls are pretty solid.
They're so good.
They're so good.
Yeah, fries are, man. Place always hits. I would have put Chenois very high on that list. The sesame beef from there is my absolute favorite. And unfortunately, they're gone.
Yep.
And then I went out of my way to go to Solano Avenue to go to the restaurant that they still have. And let me tell you, it's not even close.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Burma, and now all the Burmese places do a sesame beef that's very, very good. Burma's Oakland, so I couldn't do that, but Burma would be a great show. Burma Superstar would be great.
Shandong in downtown Chinatown's good too.
Shandong is always good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Handmade noodles, hand pulled noodles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are probably the ones I would go with. But thanks, Rex, for that roundabout discussion.
You still sound angry.
Yeah, I know. He knows exactly where to just push my buttons. So yeah. Anyways, last one comes from my friend David. We got two things from him, and I am kind of springing this onto you as a surprise. So here we go. First one is his question: which player from either team shows up in a way they haven't showed up this season?
Easy.
What do you got?
Got to be Jaden.
Easy pick.
Easy.
From the opposing team, I think Bain. I think his name's Ruben Bain. He is He's a defensive lineman. He, I think, led the team in sacks last year, or was close to it. He's supposedly, according to Mario Cristobal, was ready to go and look good in warm-ups against Virginia Tech, but they held him back so he can get another week's rest. And he is apparently healthy and ready to go against Cal. So that's probably the pick. Great. Yeah.
Thank you, Mario, for that.
But the last one from David is unfortunately unable to make the game this Saturday due to some medical procedures he needs to get done. So, well, first of all, good thoughts to David and the medical procedure that he needs to get done. Second, he has field club tickets, 2 field club tickets that he usually offloads to a friend of his, but they're unable to go. So he has offered them to me to give away to 2 listeners of the pod who will be cheering on in his stead from the field club.
Wow. Let's go, David.
So I'm springing this on you without telling you, because I wanted to get your reaction live, and then also to ask, how do you think we should do this giveaway? This is Andy. Andy's thinking of this on the spot. We're not pre-recording anything.
Maybe on Thursday. Like, we
Okay.
post this tomorrow. By Thursday, those that get in touch with us, that can be a text message to me because I'm non-social. Email. What's our email again, Rob?
goldenbearcast@gmail.com.
Okay. Or tweet to Rob.
To
Or
Rob,
the handle.
to @goldenbearcast.
Okay. To @GoldenBearcast. Sorry.
Let's keep it that. So instead of texting you, let's just go send us an email, goldenbearcast@gmail.com, or tweet at us, @goldenbearcast.
No, I'm keeping texting.
Oh my God. But that means it has to be, but you'd have to tell me because only you would get that access to that. Okay.
Of course. Then we will take so we should think about what we would want it to be. I think it should be, what should the hashtag be? Let me know if you have any ideas. I'm literally thinking off the top of my head. Hashtag I listened. Hashtag bear listener. Hashtag
Hashtag. Oh man, I'm trying to think of.
hashtag Gura.
No, that's too hard because how many R's? That's gonna change it. Let's go. So, is there any hashtag you can think of with field and club, and bear, and cast, and golden?
It's all too long to me. I would say I'm drawing blanks. It's too late, man.
I know. Golden Field Club.
Yeah, perfect. Done.
Okay.
Hashtag Golden Field
Field
Club. Hashtag Golden Field Club. Again, email for our friends in Australia. Text to me for just literally my friends that listen to the podcast, for those that don't have social media. And then the
Twitter. The tweeters.
the Tweeterverse.
@Golden Bearcast.
Hashtag Golden Field Club. Then what we will do, we'll take everybody that has tweeted that or communicated that by end of day Thursday, put it into a random name generator, and then we will select.
And we will let you know.
And we're assuming that those that are going to be reaching out with interest would like both tickets, and I think we have to do it that way. So
Yep.
you're going to get 2 tickets.
Yep.
We cannot do singles.
Nope.
And would prefer it not to be a single that then gets sold for the other one. So
No.
would ideally like to have it where 2 people are using these, and if you're a solo in that situation with nobody else to go with, apologies, but would prefer that to be the scenario.
Yeah, because that's the best way that these tickets are going to get used properly. Mm-hmm. So
Love
that's it. Hashtag Golden Field Club by Thursday. Are we putting a deadline?
Yeah,
by
Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific. You heard it, folks. You have basically 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
If this goes up on Wednesday, right? Yeah.
That's good.
So you basically have 24
We got to
hours.
give
All
people time to plan.
right. Yeah.
Like, what if they're out of town and they say, hey, the tickets looked expensive, and now all of a sudden 2 Field Club? Maybe I'm coming. We got to give them time.
Yeah. So that's why we'll let you know on Thursday. So then you can make your plans for Friday and Saturday. All right. What a great way to end the podcast for this week.
Yeah, thanks, David. Good luck. Sending all the best. Good vibes.
Just helping out the community. Community members helping out the community. What more better way than this with Cal fans? But yeah, Andy, that's it. It's a wrap. We're done here. And we'll see everyone on Saturday for game day bright and early. And then we'll see everyone for the tailgate in the game. If you come to our tailgate, come say hello. Andy might be DJing, so...
No, might. I will. Bring your rave glasses, outfits, everything. Gold out. Gold everything.
It might be too cold to wear rave outfits, but it's neither here nor there. We'll see you when we see you. And as
All
always,
gold everything.
go Bears.
Go Bears.